Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year! I am back from a little break and I'm feeling better than ever. In my 6 years of vlogging and Instagramming, I have never taken a break like this before, but it was much needed. So thank you so much for your patience. I'm feeling great and I hope that you guys had a wonderful Christmas and a magical New Year. Also, I am filming from my little closet room and it's still in progress, so sorry if it looks kind of crazy. But I haven't quite figured out the whole filming thing with the new house and the lighting and just, I don't know. So I'm just kind of trying to experiment a little bit with that. So just bear with me. I have quite a lot to share today. So first off, I just want to let you guys know that starting next week, I will be increasing my uploads to twice a week. So I'll be doing the normal Thursday video, but I will also be doing another video at the beginning of the week. I haven't decided if it's going to be Monday or Tuesday, but one of those days. So I will keep you posted and I will put that in the community tab. So make sure you check that out. And next week I will also have a giveaway because I promised that I would do a giveaway when I reached 1,000 subscribers. And I did quite a while ago, but with the move and the holidays and everything else, it was kind of crazy. So yeah, that's something to be excited about. Keep an eye out for that. And so the second video is going to be more of like a series of series. So a couple of weeks ago, I asked for your opinion on what type of video you would like to see as a series, and a lot of you said like feminine lifestyle tips and then also general style and fashion tips. So I will definitely be incorporating those. And then surprisingly, a lot of you requested blogging and social media and photography tips. So I will also get into that, but at a later date once I have finished up some other series. But if you are impatient and you want some information right now, I do have some free resources on my blog. I have a whole section called The Business of Vlogging, which talks about photography and social media and blogging, of course. So I will leave a link to my blog in the description. Also, I do want to announce that I am taking one-on-one consultations. This has been in the making for quite a while, and I get requests all the time with questions about blogging, social media, photography, and even fashion, like people trying to find their personal style, things like that. So I will also be taking consultations, and I have 15-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute, and hour-long consultations available. If that is something that you are interested in, I will leave a link in the description also. And I just want to note that for the consultations, this is really for anyone. So if you are just beginning your journey and you need some guidance or you have a lot of questions, I can definitely answer those. Or if you are a little bit more well-versed in the area, but you have a specific question or you're trying to figure something out, then I can definitely help in that area too. I have a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge about working with brands, shooting photos, and SEO, blogging, social media, how to grow your accounts, pretty much anything. So now let's get into the actual video. I have been really anxious to film this and I've been putting it off because, to be honest, it is really uncomfortable for me to be real and raw and to share private things about myself because I am a very private person. And it's really funny because I have this public domain, I guess you can say, but I keep a lot of things to myself. I don't share everything. And while there's other people that share every single detail about their life, you know, that works for them. But for me, as a private person, I feel like I need to have that separation. And when you are a blogger or influencer, content creator, even YouTuber, there is a very fine line between your public life and your personal life. That can be really tricky to balance. And of course, there are people that overshare, but I feel like I'm in the opposite spectrum. Like, I don't share anything. So, I mean, there are times where I share some details on my blog, but I mean, I don't really share on Instagram that often. It's more so about like femininity and pretty clothes and things like that. But I do think that I need to open up my heart a little bit more, and I need to share a little bit more about who I am as a person, because yes, I love all of those beautiful frilly things, and I love pink and shoes and clothes and everything else, but there's also a deeper side to me that people don't see because I don't allow them to see that, if that makes sense. So for this video, I really wanted to share my 2020, how things went down, the things that you don't see, because I think that a lot of people look at me and bloggers and influencers in general and think that life is a fairy tale and that it's perfect all the time. And because I don't share the real things all the time, it can certainly seem that way. I really just want to share all about my year and the events that happened and how they shaped me as a person, and how going through some really terrible obstacles have really made a positive impact on my life. Please don't think that this video is me venting or being a negative Nancy or just like complaining, because that's definitely not it. This is more so a way for me to share more about myself in hopes of inspiring you and motivating you and encouraging you to move forward no matter what you're going through. Because let's be honest, 2020 was a terrible year for everyone. So let's just get right into it, and instead of just sharing about my year in general, I'm going to go month by month so that you can really see how each event shaped me. It's kind of crazy looking back, but yeah. Okay, so let's start with January. So 2019 ended on a good note. I was doing very well professionally and personally. I had just retired from teaching guitar, and this was after I quit my substitute teaching job as well. So I went full-time into my blog after many, many years of hard work and dedication and sleepless nights. I was feeling very happy and very proud of myself and just over the moon excited. And so January came, and I was thinking to myself, this is going to be the best year ever. January started off really good. I had some really big things happening professionally, and I was just doing really well overall. I got some bad news about a big project that I was working on, and I never announced this on Instagram or my blog or anything. In 2019, I had been working with a product developer to create my own makeup line. And this line was going to focus more so on lip products like lipsticks and things like that. Had been working very, very hard on it, and it was going to launch in 2020. Out of nowhere, I get an email saying that they were halting the project indefinitely. This line was going to be a huge part of my brand, and I have wanted some kind of project like this for a really, really long time, and I worked very hard on it. And it was just one of those things where it's like, wow, like, I mean, what can you do? You can't do anything, but that's okay. Things are still going well in other areas, so it's not like the biggest devastation of a lifetime, although it did feel like it at the time. So then February rolls around, and I celebrated my 5-year blog anniversary, and I was just so excited that this little thing that I created a long time ago had now become my full-time job. I felt so excited about the future, and even though my makeup line didn't work out, I still felt very hopeful. And then right after that, I would say within the next few days, I started losing family members. So 3 family members passed away in February, and this was before the whole lockdown scenario. So for the first one, they did hold a funeral, but due to a different situation, we were not invited or welcome to attend this funeral. That was kind of a lot to deal with mentally. And then right after that, 2 other family members passed away, and one of them I had been estranged from for a few years. And luckily, I did know that this person was going to pass. And so I called and told them that I loved them and forgave them. And so that gave me a sense of closure, but it was still a really hard time. It was just a lot at once. And so now we're in March, and this is when California first announced the lockdown. I don't even need to go into that because we all know how that went. But okay, so we're inside, whatever. Meanwhile, my husband, he was an essential worker, so he was still going out to work every single day. He still has been through this whole thing. Just a little side note. And he started experiencing these weird symptoms. He was having an anaphylactic allergic reaction to something. It's pretty crazy because I'm usually the one with all the allergies. I have literally the craziest allergies to everything, but he doesn't. And so it was just really out of the ordinary for him to experience this, especially on such a severe level. There would be times when he literally couldn't breathe, and we had to rush to urgent care so that he could be put on a breathing machine. And so it just felt like every other day we were going to the hospital, we're going to the doctor, urgent care, trying to figure out what is causing this. He had a blood panel done, and we found out that he was allergic to a lot of different things, but most severely was tumbleweeds. And I live in an area that is surrounded by tumbleweeds. And so we think that what happened is that he hit a tumbleweed and it was stuck in his grill. And this really did happen. And that he was having an allergic reaction to this. I'm happy to report that he is all better now, but during that time it was really, really scary. And it was just something that I would not want anyone to go through. It was very, very terrifying. I also experienced my first panic attack around this time, my first one ever in my life, because I had just quit my job a few months ago, and then now every single project that I was working on, everything that was in negotiation was put on hold or just flat out canceled. And so I literally lost all of my income. And so it was just I don't even know, just so scary and just such a bummer because I had worked so hard all of these years to get to this point, and then for something like this to happen, and it's oh my gosh, I don't even know if my business is going to survive after this. Okay, so now we're in April, and we're still inside, or at least I am. And so here's the thing, since I worked from home, not much changed, but after I lost all of my work, I really began to kind of do more things for me. I got a Vogue coloring book so that I could do some coloring and do some art projects, and I started getting crafty, and I tried my hand at arranging flowers and just tried to really be a little bit more creative and try to do things that I didn't normally have time to do. And so that was really helping me. And then also, Tiger King. Whenever that came out, that really lifted my spirits. It honestly made me feel so much better. And so during this time, I was dedicating my time to focusing on work projects like my newsletter and getting my YouTube channel started and things like that. But I was also doing more things for me, lots of self-care and lots of creative endeavors and things like that. And so that was really nice to have that time, because I'm usually so busy that I don't get that time. Yeah, I really was just trying to see the positive in everything. And I didn't know how long this would go on. So I didn't know if I would get this time back. But since I was inside all the time, at the time we were living in a small apartment and I was starting to go a little bit crazy. So each evening my husband and I would go for a walk around the complex, and it honestly made my day. I realized right then, I've always known that I just need nature and love being outside, but I realized that right then I need it to feel mentally stable. while to feel better and to feel some sense of normalcy, I guess. This was also the time that I launched my newsletter. So this was in progress for a really, really long time. And I was like, you know what? I have the time. I'm going to do it. And then also at the end of April, I think it was like April 30th, I launched this channel, and here I am. YouTube has been on the back burner, or it had been on the back burner for a really, really long time, like years. And I won't get into that right now because there were a lot of reasons why I didn't start sooner. Maybe I'll save that for a different video. But the good thing is that I did start it, and I am really, really liking it. I wish I did start sooner. Okay, now we're in May, and I realize that this video is getting way too long, so I'm really sorry, and I apologize in advance. Okay, so now we are in May, and we celebrated our 7th wedding anniversary. And earlier in the year, we had planned to go to Hawaii to celebrate our anniversary, but, you know, obviously that couldn't happen. So we canceled all trips, all birthday trips, all anniversary trips, literally everything for the entire year. So it was a little bit different, but we made the best of it. And then at this time, we had to stop our evening walks because things were blooming around the complex, and like I mentioned earlier, I have really, really severe allergies. So it gets so bad that sometimes when I go outside, I literally cannot breathe. So it was just one of those things. It was really, really bad this year for some reason, and I could not go outside without coughing and sneezing, and my eyes are watering and they're hurting, and literally like every symptom in the book. I did find that wearing a mask helped a little bit, but it didn't help my eyes or anything, but it did help me be able to breathe, but it just wasn't as enjoyable, so we stopped our walks. And it was also around this time that I lost someone that I considered a friend. And by lost, I don't mean like they passed away or anything like that. The friendship was just dissolved, and it was because of my YouTube channel. And I was devastated, to say the least. As a content creator, it's hard to find people that really understand you sometimes, that really understand the struggles you go through and what life is like. I was just sad to not have that anymore. This situation made me really take a look at my life and who I was surrounding myself with. And boy, did it open my eyes, because I realized that for years and years and years, I had been surrounding myself with a lot of toxic people, a lot of people that just had like a negative mindset and just kind of took a lot out of me and sucked out my joy and just were very unsupportive of me. This was a time where I really started to clean house. So a few years ago, I really, really cleaned house, but I feel like this was like the last straw when it came to friendships, I guess. And so I closed off myself from other relationships and just decided to take a break from other people. Okay, so now it's June. We celebrated my birthday in quarantine, and I made a cake that didn't have any of my allergens, so that was really nice. It was the first time I ate cake in a really, really long time, and it was really delicious. We also drove to a national park that is a few hours away from us to go for a day hike, and that was really nice. This was before they closed down all of the national parks, but it was just so nice to get out, especially after being inside for so long. After ridding myself of a lot of the relationships, I felt like I needed to organize my life and just clean out everything. So I did a massive closet clean out, and I filmed it on here. And I literally cleaned out half of my closet. My allergies were still terrible. And then it began to get really, really hot. It is a desert climate where I live, so it gets up to like 110, 115 in the summer, and it is miserable. So not only are my allergies just all crazy, and let me just say that I also take allergy medicine every single day, and sometimes it doesn't work, and it's like prescription strength. So you know, there's not really much I can do with that. But now it's like hot and miserable, and so I definitely don't want to be outside walking. And then I lost 2 more people from my life. Like, they passed away. And another one was an estranged family member that was in relation to the other one. Except this time I did not get to say goodbye. There was no funeral, of course. And so I did not get any closure. In the past, I was close to this person. I was close to both, but I was more close to this person. And so it really, really, really was very painful for me. And I found myself just crying all the time, like not even just for this one, but just for everything. It was just like everything was being purged from my life. All of these people were just disappearing from my life, and I felt so alone. In an act of desperation, I found a healer and psychic. I had never done anything like that before, totally out of the ordinary for me. And so I was talking to this person and everything just hit home. And they were talking about the negativity surrounding me, like other people's negative energy toward me for various reasons, I guess, and about the toxic relationship patterns and these people that I seem to attract. This person really opened my eyes to a lot and told me that things were going to get worse for me in the coming months, but after September, it would be better. And so I was just bracing myself, because here it is like June, and so I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what else can go wrong? Are you serious? I put my trust in it, and I was just thinking like, okay, like I just got to get through this, but everything is going to be okay in the end. And I still felt hopeful. And throughout this whole 6-month period, I still felt hopeful about my business and about my personal life, and just that things would work out and that everything would be okay. This person told me that I had blockages in my heart chakra and in my solar plexus. I had no idea what those were or how to unblock them. And when I did some research to find out what was connected to the heart chakra and my solar plexus, I found that it was referring to me closing off my heart to people and having low self-esteem. Okay, so now we're in July, and we celebrated my husband's birthday in quarantine. And I got my first ukulele. At the beginning of this time period, I was doing lots of like artsy stuff, and then I got more into music. So I already play guitar, but I have always wanted to get a ukulele or ukulele and learn some songs on it. So I started doing that, and I don't know why, but I'm very connected to music. Music just, it lifts my spirits just listening to it or humming it or playing it. Like, I just love music so much, almost as much as fashion. And so that made me feel a lot better. And we were also supposed to go on a cross-country road trip, which we had to cancel last minute due to some circumstances. But it was kind of a bummer, because I was really looking forward to just getting out and seeing places that I've never seen before, and yeah, it just didn't happen. So maybe sometime in the future. At this time, actually the week that we're supposed to leave, I broke my toes. I had never broken a bone before in my whole life, and I broke my toes. It's kind of embarrassing, but I danced into a wall. So my husband always plays this NBA video game, and there's this specific song that comes on, and every time it comes on, I have to like dance. I don't know why. It just, I don't know. I just have to do it. And so it came on, and I was working in the office, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to dance. And so I don't know. I just wanted to like make him laugh, you know, because he was kind of down. And so I ran out there, and my foot caught the edge of the wall, and I launched forward like a rocket and like ran into my bike, hit this other wall. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. And then I passed out, and it was a big old thing. So not a very good experience. And now I can't say that I've never broken a bone, which is kind of sad. But yeah, anyway, so for the first few weeks, or actually the first week, I could not walk. I was literally like sitting or laying or something like that because I could not walk at all. And what makes it even worse is that we lived upstairs. And so I was confined to the apartment yet again. Oh my gosh. And speaking of which, we renewed our apartment lease around this time, but we knew that it was going to be our last time renewing it because it was going up quite a lot, which I felt was not really a good decision to do in the environment that the world was currently living in, with people losing their jobs and myself losing my income. But you know what? It is what it is. I think it was a good thing. It kind of pushed us to start looking for a new place to live. We had been living there for like 4 years. And so we started looking at houses, and there wasn't very many at all. Like we would look and there would be like 5 available, and they would be out of our price range and really not that great. We both started to feel like, what are we gonna do? Are we going to be homeless after this next lease is up? What are we going to do? What if we don't find a place? And so I was really stressed out about that too. So now we're in August, celebrated my little brother's birthday. My toes are still broken, but now I can kind of hobble around, but I still can't walk down the stairs. So I'm still confined to the apartment, which, you know, it's fine. I'm making the best of it. I'm getting a lot of work done. I'm being really creative with my photo shoots since I can't really like wear shoes or anything. And so it really helped me kind of go outside the box a little bit and explore more creative ways to make content. And then in California, the crazy wildfires started, and they were not anywhere near us, but the smoke was so bad. If you guys aren't in California, I don't know if you saw pictures or anything, but it was horrific. And the smoke was so dense and so bad that they told us not to go outside because it was hazardous. And in the place where I live, we already have really bad air quality, which is probably why I have such bad allergies, but it was off the scale. Like I remember our AQI for one day was like 700 or something, and I think the scale goes up to 150 or 200, so it was like really, really high. And when I did go outside to water my plants or anything like that, I could feel the particles that I was breathing in, even just being out there for a couple of minutes to do that. I would choke and gasp. It was really hard. And so again, I was indoors because my toe, because of the air, it was just really, really bad. And then this is when I discovered that maybe I have asthma too on top of my allergies. So it's just like all of these things. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. And also adding to the whole health thing, during this whole time, so I have struggled with digestive issues for a couple of years now, and I found out it was like food allergies and things like that. And so for the past maybe year and a half, 2 years, I've been a guinea pig trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, what can I eat, and it's been a nightmare. So on top of all of these things, I'm also dealing with this. And in particular, the months of June, July, and August were really, really bad for my digestive issues. Like I was having so many issues. I was sick all the time. I was bloated. I was feeling just really, really terrible. So it wasn't good. I was not feeling like myself at all. And then I found out that my little brother had enlisted in the Navy. And oh my gosh, I was devastated. So I know that most people view this as a really good thing, but for me, I was very sad. My brother and I are extremely close, and ever since my husband has been in the picture, so since my little brother was like really, really young, like elementary school age, we've always taken him places and done things with him and just created a lot of really great memories. And so I was just thinking about all of the things that he was going to miss and all of the memories that we weren't going to be able to make because now he's leaving. And it was really hard for me emotionally, especially after everything I had gone through in the past few months. And so it was just like grieving after grieving after grieving after grieving, and I felt really alone and just really sad. Like so sad. So September rolls around and my toes are doing better. So I'm finally able to walk a little bit. I think this was the month that I drove my car. I can't remember. And being inside for so long had me really yearning for travel. So I started planning a group travel trip, which I have up on my blog. And if you're interested, I'll leave a link below too. We're going to Italy in September. I am so excited. Anyway, so during this time, the wildfires were still going, and it had been 6 weeks at this point since I had seen a blue sky, and so that was a little depressing. And then in October, my toes finally healed. I think it took like 15 or 16 weeks total. It was crazy. And we went to Lake Tahoe as a last-minute trip with my little brother and my mom and my husband. It was honestly such a beautiful time. We went for a lot of really nice hikes and just relaxed, and it was wonderful. And for November, this was the first month in a couple of years that I had 0 digestive issues. Like, honestly, such a miracle, because oh my gosh, like they were so bad and it was so frustrating, and for once I finally had no symptoms and I felt like I had really gotten a hold of my new dietary restrictions, and I just started to feel a lot better. And now that my toes were doing better, I was ready to start working out again, and I don't know, I just felt good health-wise. And this was also when we found our house, and it came out of nowhere, and within 3 days we signed all the paperwork and it was ours. Like, it was such a quick timeline. It was so fast, and at the time my work had started to pick up again, and so like things were starting to get good again, professionally and personally. I was starting to feel really good mentally and with my health, and it was just like a lot, like so overwhelming, but in the best way. And so even though we had the house in mid-November, we decided not to move in until the end of the month so that I could get my work done really quick and have some time to pack. And then right before we moved, I met with a shaman, and so this was also another first for me. She reached out to me on Instagram. When she reached out, I had a lot of things going on in my life, and I mentally like just couldn't handle anything at that moment, so I put it off, and then decided to meet with her in November. During our session, she was kind of saying a lot of the same things that the other person was saying, and she pointed out the blockages in my heart chakra and my solar plexus. I mean, what are the odds of that? Because I didn't say anything about the other encounter. She told me that she was going to unblock those for me, and that I should start to feel joy again, and I should start to feel like myself again. And so this was just like so crazy to me, because I am naturally such a happy, peppy, bubbly, positive person, but the last year really brought me down, and it brought me down in so many different ways, and it just felt like it was just beating me over and over and over, and I just kept thinking to myself, when is this going to end? Like, when are things going to get better? Okay, so December was a big month. We moved. And I took off an entire week to unpack and find new places for everything. And then so this put me behind on work because things were starting to pick up, thankfully. But now I'm like super overwhelmed because I'm like, I have all these things going on and I'm like trying to keep myself together. So not only did we move, but it's like Christmas time. So thankfully I put up the tree before we moved, but after that I set up all the decorations and I went all out this year because I was like, you know what? It's Christmas and we need some happiness around here. So it looks like a Christmas wonderland. They're still up. I I don't know if I'm ever taking them down because they just make me happy. Okay, I probably will take them down. So I hosted my very first Christmas, and since it was my little brother's last Christmas before he leaves, we just kept it very intimate, and it was so nice. It was one of the best Christmases. It was so nice to just spend time with my family, even though it was really small and fairly casual. It was just a really, really nice time. And also, I didn't have any digestive issues for December either. So 2 months in a row, what are the odds? Because every single month I had issues, and then November they stopped, and then December, like, I don't know what's happening. And at the end of the month, I started to feel joy in my life again, and I felt like myself. I have not felt like myself in so long. Even now, I feel so wonderful, and I feel light, and I feel inspired, and I feel motivated. And looking back on everything that happened, like, there were some things that were just devastating. And I like to see things as, you know, everything happens for a reason. I don't really think that when it comes to someone passing away, but I think that the situation is something that can be learned from and is a circumstance that teaches you something if you allow it. 2020, I feel like, was a year of learning and the beginning of a very significant growth journey. And now I feel like 2021 is where I apply those life lessons that I learned from 2020. And I continue on my journey of growth and healing. So I just feel like I'm in a really, really good place. And I could be really negative and really down about everything, but I'm really trying to see it as a positive thing for me. Absolutely, those were not positive things, and it was not fun to go through, but I think that it really pushed me in a certain direction, and it really caused me to take a look at some of the things in my life, especially relationships and friendships and my confidence and my self-worth. I think that those were really, really big lessons that I needed to learn in 2020. So now I want to briefly talk about my goals and intentions for 2021. I'm not really going to spend too much time on this. If you want to hear about it in more detail, you can visit my blog post below. So some of my professional goals include time management. I definitely need some help in this area. I used to be so organized, and I don't know what happened. And now I just feel like I'm going crazy half the time. And balance. I feel like in 2020, I really started to find balance in my personal life and in my professional life since I was getting a lot less work. I was really concentrating on self-care and spending more time with my husband and doing things that I liked to do outside of my business. And so I would like to incorporate more of that balance in my life in 2021. Another big one is focus. Sometimes I feel like I'm all over the place. I have a lot of ideas, and it's really hard for me to just like focus on one thing. And then also stepping out of my comfort zone. This one is really big. I feel like I have kind of just stayed in this little box for the past few years, and I'd really like to spread my wings and fly out of it. I would also like to work on being more creative. So I'm already a really creative person, and my background is actually in art, but there are some things that I would just like to expand my creativity on, especially when it comes to video. I feel like for photography, it took me a really, really long time to learn it, and now I'm at the point where I'm really proud of how far I've come with that, and I really enjoy doing it. And so now I'm concentrating on video because video is something that I'm not so great at yet. And I'm just kind of working on it. So thank you for joining me for that process. I really, really appreciate it. And then my last professional goal is to dream big. And this has a lot to do with my self-confidence and self-esteem And there are so many times when I look at other people and it's just like, I'm really happy for them, but I don't feel like that could happen for me. And it's kind of crazy because when you think about it, we're all kind of the same. That successful person was once like me and was once like you. There is no reason that those good big things couldn't happen for us as well. I am really working on changing my mindset and just trying to be a little bit more confident in myself and my abilities. And for my personal goals, these are very focused on my well-being and mental health and confidence. So the first one is to prioritize my health and wellness. So for example, eating well, well, I mean, as well as I can with my restrictions, and working out and not making excuses because let's be honest, I do not like working out. Like I really like yoga, I really like hiking, but I don't like working out. I also want to be fearless. So I want to be able to try new things and make decisions and do things that I want to do without the fear of failure, and even worse, the fear of what people may think about me. You know, I try to tell myself that I don't care what people think, but the truth is that I do. I don't know why I do this, but I always look to others for validation. I feel like I can't make a decision without having input from someone else just to make sure that I'm making the right decision, or, you know, whatever. And then I feel like caring so much about what other people think holds me back professionally as well, because it's always like I'm comparing myself, and I don't want to be like that anymore. I also want to be more confident. And this has been on my list pretty much every year. You know, it's something I'm constantly working on. I'm a work in progress when it comes to my confidence. And it's really funny because people are always like, wow, you seem so confident or whatever. But I mean, the truth is, I'm not. I mean, I am a lot more than I used to be, but it's just like a constant work in progress. Like it's something I'm always working on. And I feel like it's something that I've realized I have to work on internally first, and then I can work on the external. But I really think my confidence is what has held me back from achieving a lot of things. And it's really, really frustrating because it's like so simple, but for some reason my mind is just always like my own worst enemy and just feeding me those lies and self-doubts. And so I'm really, really working on this and will continue working on this in 2021. Next is love myself. And of course I love myself, but I want to really show myself more self-love and more self-care. And so, you know, just do the things that I like to do and make time for myself. I'm really prioritizing myself over other people, which is new because usually I am prioritizing other people over myself, and so it's kind of a nice change and I'm really digging this one. And then also I would like to be myself. So let me just clear some stuff up. I am myself. So on here, on Instagram, on my blog, I have always been myself, but I notice, especially in Instagram stories, I hold myself back because I feel like people wouldn't like the person that I am. I don't know why. I don't know. I feel like I'm a good person, but I guess it's bringing it back to caring about what other people think a little bit too much. And I don't even know when I got into this sort of thinking, but I want to get to the point where I am 100% myself and I stop caring about what other people think about me and stop worrying over whether or not I'm going to say the wrong thing or wear the wrong thing or look a certain way, or if I'm going to make someone unhappy. I've realized that some things are just out of my control, that I cannot make everyone like me, that I cannot make everyone be my friend. I really want to get to the point where I am unapologetically myself, which means that I am more genuine on stories and I show more of who I truly am as a person, and then also more about the things that I love, because I love pink and I love girly things and I love having a feminine lifestyle, even though that might not be the cool thing or whatever. I just want to embrace everything that I am and everything that I love and be okay with it and not be so afraid of what other people might say or think about me. And then lastly, I want to let everything go. There are a lot of things I need to let go. There are some relationships that I need to let go. There are some people in my life that I need to let go. There are some things and some dreams and some goals that I need to let go of. Last year, I would have had a really hard time with these things, and I did, because I've been going through this process for a while, but now I feel like I'm in a good place and I need to let go of certain things so that I can make room in my life for the things that matter. So those are the things that I'm working on this year, and for the first time ever, I have a word of the year, and so that is growth. And so I plan on growing and expanding so many parts of my life, both personal and professional. I feel on fire for everything. I just feel so rejuvenated and motivated and excited about what the future holds, even though I don't know what that is. And I just feel ready to take it all on. I have wanted to do this for a long time, but I never felt ready, I guess. And I had to go through some pretty big life lessons over the past few years to get to this place. And so in conclusion, I just want you guys to know that the things that you are going through, I know that they are hard. I know that it's painful, but I want you to know that you are not alone, and that even though it may not make sense right now in the moment, it may be absolutely devastating to you. I just want you to know that it will work out. I'm not saying that, all bad things that happen are good. Some things are just, they're hard to get through, but I think that it's really a mindset thing. And I think that if you look at it from a different perspective and try to see the positive in it, even when it feels like there is no positive, then that will help you get through it. And I feel like from most situations, there is a lesson to be learned. There is something that we can apply in our own life from that situation. And if there is a specific situation that keeps happening over and over and over, like if you start to see patterns, I really feel like that means that you are supposed to learn a lesson and you haven't learned it yet. And so don't give up hope, have faith, be positive, do your best. I know we're all trying to do our best here, but I just really wanted to let you guys know that, and I just really wanted to share what was on my heart today. And I promise I'm not gonna have like a lot of other videos like this because it's just way too long. Okay, so I'm gonna sign off for now, but I just want to let you guys know that I love you all. I'm thinking of you. I am sending you guys so much positivity and happiness, and I just hope that you're all doing okay, and just know that everything will work out and will be okay. Okay, see you next time.